Four-dimensional service, also known as holistic customer service. Hello, dear friend. Nice to meet you. Today's training course was prepared by PA Barg. My name is Violet, and I am an AI. I'm here to tell you just how simple and logical a service can be when you follow a specific service model. All you need to do to gain recognition among customers is take certain steps. PA has written all about this in her book, titled Four-Dimensional Service, available in Estonian. You can find out more about PA's work by visiting her website, teenindus.ee. Now, let's see what we have planned for today. How does this work? We're going to do this together. I'll show and tell you how to provide a holistic customer service experience. Every now and then, I'll give you a little exercise. This way, you can try out the suggestions for yourself. At the end of the training, you'll take a short test to put your new knowledge to use. After completing all this, you'll receive a certificate to prove that you've mastered the course. I ask but one thing before we get started. Please, put aside all other activities and focus on the training at hand. Be present and complete the exercises. This is the only way to learn all you can from this training. If you've already been paying close attention to our training, you'll have noticed a mischievous fox on this slide. Did you notice? Good job. Stay just as alert and perceptive. That way, you'll do everything perfectly. The nature of customer service. Regardless of whether you work in the commercial, communication, transport, construction, finance, or any other service sector, your business can thrive, operate, and develop only through its customers. But how do you get customers to choose your company when they can get what they want elsewhere? The key is customer service. That is the only way to demonstrate to your customers that you value and respect them and the choices they make. The main goal of customer service is to create positive emotions, as only good experiences inspire customers to cooperate. Let's take a look at our customers. They are all unique. In terms of habits, experience, beliefs, emotional capacity, concentration, and communication skills. Each customer has their own hopes and expectations for service. When they end up in a real-life service scenario, they quickly learn whether the service they receive is what they expected. This is how customers rate the service. So, how do you provide a service that genuinely makes customers happy? Let me give you an example. Imagine going to a florist to buy some flowers. The seller offers you beautiful freshly cut flowers. But they have a small flaw. It appears some petals are missing. What are you going to do? Will you buy them regardless? Will you ask for a discount or another flower? Will you abandon the purchase altogether? The same applies to service. We can smile or say, please, and thank you. But if we overlook any steps that matter to the customer, they will start to question whether to accept the situation, express dissatisfaction, or simply go to another business. Every little service detail must come together to form a holistic experience. There is one highly effective service model that will help you provide a holistic service to your customers in any situation. A holistic approach consists of 4 steps. Notice, understand, resolve, and appreciate. There is another underlying dimension, your attitude. Next, let's look at the key elements of each step to make it easy for you to put them into practice. Attitude. When do you think service starts? When the customer makes a purchase. Before that, when they ask you for assistance. Even sooner. When they start to take an interest in something. Or perhaps from the moment the customer walks through the door. In reality, service starts even earlier. Service starts with your attitude. Imagine that attitude is like a treasure chest, full of all your precious personality traits, skills, and knowledge. It is up to you to decide whether you want to use those assets, or whether you want to slam the lid shut and ignore them. Everything depends on your intuition, on how attuned you feel to your surroundings. Customer service starts with you. Your interactions with customers trigger a domino effect every day. Your mindset translates into your words and actions, which in turn fuel the customer's emotions and actions. You have a huge impact on shaping the service. Having a positive attitude is your biggest advantage when it comes to delivering a great customer experience. If you want to be able to do this, start by improving yourself. The way you start your morning sets the tone for the entire day. Therefore, your goal should be to do at least one specific activity every morning to recharge with positive energy. For example, your first cup of coffee in the morning. A real treat. Caffeine and coffee aroma have a wonderfully stimulating effect. Music. Listening to the rhythms of music and singing along is a great source of energy and gets your mind moving. Gymnastics, stretching, dancing, and walking in fresh air. Even stretching and yawning will boost your attention and ability to focus. Words can transform the way we think about the world around us. The more we use positive words, the better we feel. Give it a try. Now for another exciting challenge on how to intentionally train yourself to be more positive. The next slide shows people's faces. Find the faces that express genuine joy. 30 seconds should be enough for this exercise. Here's a little hint. There are a total of 3 faces depicting genuine joy. Okay, let's get started. "30 seconds have now passed. Our 3 joyful people are here. I hope you found them all. But can you imagine playing this exact game every day? Look for joyful faces around you every morning as you go to work, on the street, on the bus, or at work, wherever you meet people. The more you focus on joyful faces, the more you'll create happy people around you. This also triggers a positive domino effect when interacting with customers. It all starts with attitude. Notice. Just 100 years ago, people had no more than 3 channels of communication. We turned to newspapers for news and books for new experiences. Ideas were exchanged by post, and much of our communication took place in person. Today, we have a huge choice of communication channels, with more coming every day. The information overload is so great that we have learned to protect ourselves from it. We often hear and look, but don't really listen and see. Have you ever been in a situation where you have overlooked a change in the speed limit when driving on a familiar road? Or have you only noticed a message on a door when your hand is already pulling on the door handle because for some reason the door just won't open this time? In other words, we look in order to see, but it is more important to notice so that we actually become aware of what we see. The same applies in service. You can obviously see your customers, but it's more important to notice them. Focus and commit to take note of what the customer really needs and wants. This is the best way to let your customer know that they are welcome, that they can feel safe talking to you, and that you know how to make cooperation as comfortable and as smooth as possible for them. Hello. This is appropriately polite to let the customer know that you've noticed them and are available. But simply saying hello is not enough. Always make eye contact when greeting customers. This lets them know that the greeting is for them. Remember to add a sincere smile. Your smile shows the customer that you are happy to see them. But you can add even more positivity to the welcome by doing one simple thing: greet customers, using more than one word to automatically boost joy. Listen up. Can you spot the difference, when I say hello? Or good morning? Good afternoon? Hello and welcome. There are more opportunities here. How you set up the meeting with the customer is entirely up to you. Keep focusing on the customer. This way, you can spot ways to make the service safe and comfortable for the customer. Let's give it a try. On the next page you will find a customer waiting for you. They are sitting very quietly. What do you notice about the customer that helps you to plan ahead so that the customer feels safe and comfortable interacting with you? Make at least 3 observations. Did you manage? Did you notice the details that would make the service more comfortable and safer for the customer? Try to notice at least one detail about every customer that will make service more considerate, more comfortable and safer for them. Notice opportunities to share what is best with the customers. Understand. Children's curiosity knows no limits. They can ask hundreds of questions a day to try to make sense of what is happening around them. Stay curious even as an adult. Take an interest in what the customer wants, feels, and expects. Ask them. Asking questions allows you to better understand your customer. But questions can be different. There are open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. By asking open-ended questions, you are effectively opening the door for the customer to share information. This way, they can freely describe their wishes and ideas. And we have a lot of open-ended questions to choose from. Where? How? Which? What? With what? On the other hand, a closed-ended question only allows the customer to answer yes or no. Here's another exercise for a change. Which question allows the customer to describe their request?
Would you like coffee? Some coffee or tea? What would you like to drink?
Which question can the customer use to describe their request? The first 2 questions are closed-ended questions. The third question is an open-ended question and allows the customer to describe their request. I bet you made the same choice. There is another important skill that comes with asking the right questions. And that is listening. your ability to focus on the customer's answers. Passive listening allows us to be part of what the customer is saying, without interrupting them. But customers will then soon have another question: are you still listening? Do you understand what I'm saying? Active listening is more than just listening to words. Active listening is about being present in the communication. To do this, set aside all other activities and focus. Let the customer know that you are listening. You can do this through vocalizations, words, follow-up questions, mimicry. It has to be clear to the customer that you understand them. Active listening also means focusing on what is actually said to analyze what the customer has in mind. Now, you can also focus on your customer. Try to understand what the customer is actually trying to say with the question.
How long have you been doing this job?
If you concentrate, you can find the deeper meaning behind these words. How long have you been doing this job? By asking this, the customer wants to know if they can trust your expertise. If you understand the question, you can answer and act correctly. Resolve. When a customer has a request, a question, or a problem, the journey to reach you for a solution starts much further away. The customer first tries to piece together what they already know to get closer to the solution they want. After they determine what they need specialist help with, they come to you. At this point, you meet the customer to hear out what they want. What you'll hear is the customer's wish, outlining the piece of the puzzle that they were unable to solve on their own. If you can give the customer the solution they want, then that's great. But we are often unable to give the customer exactly what they ask for. Avoid saying no at this point. Let go of the specific piece of the puzzle the customer is asking for, and focus on the big picture. That way you have a clear path to an alternative solution. First, establish the target the customer wants to reach. Remember that we talked about this under understanding. Then see what alternative solutions you can offer the customer. Or, what changes you can make to the solution to help the customer reach the desired target. Now you have 3 easy ways to find an alternative solution. Firstly, form. You can replace the product or service requested for with another product or service that's just as good and delivers the result they want. Secondly, time. If a solution cannot be provided by the requested deadline, you can tell them exactly when you can guarantee a solution. And thirdly, place. The requested solution exists, but in another place. Whether in our real world or in the virtual world. Remember that no distance is too great. And now for another little exercise. How would you resolve this situation? You're about to finish a conversation with a lovely customer when they ask,
"Would you like a kitten? My cat has a litter of 8. I can't bring them up alone."
Surely the customer's request is not part of the service you provide. How do you respond to the customer? These are all negative answers. If your preferred answer is listed here, consider whether you can avoid a negative answer in such an unexpected situation. The customer's request is absolutely not about your service. Nevertheless, it's best to focus on the solution. It's nice that the customer informed us about their primary concern. Based on this, you can easily direct them to an alternative solution. I believe there are plenty of solutions here that don't include you adopting all of the kittens. Whatever the question, know that the customer is already halfway to finding a solution. Your job is to help them get there. Avoid saying no, even if you can't produce exactly what they're looking for. Focus on the customer's end goal and the right solution will present itself. Appreciate. AI has become our daily companion. It assists us in practically every area, including communication. Despite technological advances, humans have and will continue to have a big advantage over machines. I am also an AI and I'm learning to speak better with every passing day. But I can only do so to the extent of the program's algorithms. As a human, you are able to perceive the complexity of communication. Your words carry more weight than any machine. That is why customers appreciate interactions with service staff who can really value what customers do and say, regardless of the number of AI assistants making their way into service. Appreciation is like a gift, because it lets the person know that they are valued. Your customer wants to feel important. Yet they rarely hear words of praise in service. Sometimes not even once in an entire year. So, aim to say something appreciative to the customer at least once during every meeting. I'm certain you will see their eyes light up. Here are 5 suggestions on how you can let your customer know you appreciate them. The first suggestion: let the customer know that you remember them. This tells the customer that they are special, because we only remember people who are important to us. By focusing on your customer in the way we described, you will pick up a lot of information about them that you can then use to demonstrate their relevance. For example, address the customer by their name, if you know and remember their name. Make sure that you remember the correct pronunciation. Ask whether they were satisfied with their last purchase or recommendation. If AC Customer shows you photos of their family members, you can ask how they are doing when you meet again. You can always remind the customer of a previous conversation to ask how things have been. And, of course, anniversaries. These are important in everyone's life. Congratulate them on their birthday, wedding anniversary, graduation, or even on concluding an important business contract. The second suggestion is to recognize the customer. This means letting the customer know that you appreciate and respect what they do and say. It's important to distinguish between recognition and praise. Praise is meaningless. It's simply an assessment without explanation. For example, very good. Well done. These are empty statements and will only make the customer shrug. Recognition is always based on the facts or what the customer said or did. For example, if they ask a question, you can recognize them for asking an important question. If they make a suggestion, you can recognize them for a useful suggestion. If they give you positive or negative feedback, let them know that you value their feedback. And regardless of whether they decide to purchase something or not, you can tell them that they made the best choice. The third suggestion is to ask if there is anything else you can do to help. This is a great question to ask at the end of virtually any service process. It will give the customer a chance to think about whether they are happy with the provided solution or would like to revisit something. This is your chance to highlight that the customer's satisfaction is a priority. It also holds another important message by asking if there is anything else you can do. You are also implying that you are prepared to go above and beyond. Whether it's looking for more information, carrying goods to the car, or doing some other appreciative gesture. The fourth suggestion is to thank the customer. A thank you is an expression of courtesy, respect, gratitude, and recognition. It's remarkable how much we can say in so few words. It's like a little pearl that you can give to your customer anytime. When they make a purchase, ask a question, respond to your question, do what you ask them to do, contribute to a solution, give their opinion, wait patiently or not so patiently, or as they leave after getting the desired solution. And English has no shortage of expressions for expressing gratitude. Feel free to use these words as they add warmth, cheer, and sometimes a little playfulness to your service. The fifth and final suggestion is to find a way to tell the customer directly and sincerely just how glad you are that they are your customer. It's the biggest thanks you can give a customer. This will stay with the customer for a long time. You will have plenty of opportunities to say this to a customer. For example, to a new customer, or to a long-time customer, or perhaps to a customer who had a misunderstanding but everything worked out fine. This is your way of telling the customer that you value and respect them, no matter what. Thank you for being our customer. There are so many sentences you can use to express this idea that you can even do so in writing. Perhaps on a card or even on a receipt. Now it's your turn. How do you recognize a customer? When they tell you,
"Thank you very much. You've been very helpful."
here are some responses we usually use to reply. None of these tell the customer just how important they are to us. I believe that your reply contains words of appreciation for the customer. We focus on the customer, listen to their needs, and look for the best solutions. All of this is absolutely vital, but it's just as important to tell your customer that they are very important to you. Look at all the options we have to do this. So, start using them, and you'll see how much joy it brings the customer. Summary. It's time to summarize what we've learned so far. The customer wants a holistic service. There are 4 important dimensions to ensure this. First, focus on yourself. Service starts with you. Your attitude shapes the world around you. So, get your positive energy going to ensure you have the will and drive to deliver an enjoyable customer experience. How to create positive emotions. First dimension, notice the customer. Let the customer know they are welcome. Pay attention to the customer throughout the service process. By focusing on the customer, you'll notice how to make it safe and comfortable for them to work with you. Second dimension, understand the customer. Ask questions to understand what the customer wants. Be mindful of how you ask questions, because some questions let the customer speak more than others. After asking a question, focus on listening to the answer. Let the customer know how you understood the answer. Often there is a deeper meaning behind their reply. Third dimension, solve the customer's issue. Customers buy products or services to reach a target. Therefore, even if you can't provide the specific product or service they are asking for, focus on the customer's end goal. This will allow you to see other options to help the customer reach their desired outcome. Fourth dimension, appreciate the customer. The customer is very important. The previous 3 dimensions focus on making the customer feel valued and cared for. With this dimension, be sure to tell the customer that they are very important. It's also worth acknowledging the customer's thoughts and actions so that you can see how to make the collaboration even smoother. This training contains more suggestions on what you can do for your customers than you can immediately implement. Don't despair. Start by making a small change to your service every day. Do something a little differently than usual and deliver a little more than usual. This will ensure you serve every customer in a professional and positive way. Thank you very much for your time, attention, and interest.